We're here at Northwest Stadium where the Washington Commanders beat the Tennessee Titans today and beat them down pretty good, 42-19. I'm joined with my good friend, needs no introduction, Mr. Felix Trammell from Fox Sports Radio. Big win today.
Yeah, I mean, all wins are big, but you go out and do that after the last 3 weeks. That's a great sign. That's a great sign, man.
You know, this is one of those wins that felt eerily similar to earlier in the year, you know, where they were running the football on teams. Jayden Daniels was making plays, Terry was making plays, and the defense was making plays. And then also Tyler Owens, you know, caused the turnover on special teams. So it was kind of complimentary football today. We talked about that last week.
Yeah, I mean, you got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat in this league, and that's what they were doing earlier in the season. They should have beat the Cleveland Browns and the Carolina Panthers, and the Tennessee Titans were supposed to be in that mold, but they had just had a big win last week over the Houston Texans. So to come out and be up 28-0,
Yeah,
I mean that's a sign. That is a good sign that all three phases are clicking well, and even with mishaps on all three sides, 42-19 is a solid win in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, they missed the 2 field goals. Gonzalez, that, you know, we don't want to put a damper on a big win, but that could be a sign of concern going forward because it looks like Austin Cyber might be out for the foreseeable future.
Right. And, you know, there was no pressure on those kicks, which, you know, that's either really good or it's really bad. But, I mean, he missed them both to the right. So hopefully that's something that's correctable. You know, with 2 weeks, you know, he gets a mindset of, I'm on the team now. I can play like it's my spot and just be more confident because just like in anything in sports, it's about confidence. And if you're confident that the ball is going through, it's going through. But kicking is an art. And as we can see around the league, I mean, even the legendary Justin Tucker is missing kicks right and now. Extra points. So kicking is a hard thing. And I think people should never take it for granted. So Austin Cyber, he'll be out for a while, but hopefully Gonzalez can just get into a groove and they don't put all the pressure on him to win a game.
Yeah. I mean, and, you know, as long as the offense is moving the ball, scoring in the red zone, they looked much better, much more efficient today. But it all started to me with Brian Robinson, you know, and it's funny because, you know, somebody special to me, you know, is always saying they don't look the same when Brian Robinson's not playing. You know what? She was on to something because you saw what he is for this offense.
Yeah, and I've seen some of the chat on social media like we need to upgrade Brian Robinson, but you see a healthy Brian Robinson what he does.
Yeah,
his violence when he runs, his power, and that just set the tone against the Titans, who were stout against the run, and he was hitting them. He was the hammer instead of being the nail, and that set the tone. And McNichols came behind him, and Chris Rodriguez came behind him, and next thing you know, Jayden's out the back door. Now the offense has something to do. Now you can't load up on one thing. Now Terry's free. Yeah. So it all connects together. But Brian Robinson is very important to this offense just because of things like that. And you could see it that he looked fresh. He looked healthier, made the offense look healthy.
Yeah, I mean, they had 267 yards rushing today. I mean, that's college football type numbers.
Yeah.
To do that against, by the way, the number 2 ranked defense in the league. Yeah. That Tennessee defense did not look like a top unit. They got shredded today. So for all the fans out there who are like, oh, you know, Jayden Daniels, he's a fluke, blah, 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 and Cliff Kingsbury can't coach. Shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. Turn in your fan card.
Absolutely.
You know, because this was the type of win, again, that was needed. This is the type of win in years past they don't get.
Right.
You know?
They usually let stuff snowball. One mistake, and got to realize they went toe-to-toe with Pittsburgh. That's another shame in that loss. The Philadelphia game, they were up in the fourth quarter, lost.
Yeah.
Dallas, for whatever it's worth, they had a chance to tie the game with 20 seconons left.
And played terrible football.
And they played bad. So we have to look at it from that perspective. But old Washington teams would have lost that. They would have came out here, been flat, and Levis would have had a career game. They were on Levis, and Levis made a throw here and there, but for the most part, he was controlled. So it's a new leaf. Relax on Jayden. Everyone expects the world. 3 touchdowns, another rushing touchdown on a broken play. That was a broken play.
Yeah, he was accountable for 4 touchdowns today, 3 last week. I mean, that's 7 over the last 2 weeks. I don't know what more you would want from your rookie quarterback to do. I mean, he clearly today is going to be the winner of Rookie of the Week again.
Right.
And all those people that are like, Bo Nix has got the lead. And I'm like, stop it. Just wake up. You know, just look at this team for what it is. It's a good football team. They just hit a rut, but they hit a rut against some pretty good teams, you know, and their division rival. We're going to find out even more about them coming back from this bye because now most of the time you don't have byes in week 14.
Right.
But to be able to have a bye and to be able to come back against a New Orleans team depending on what they do today, they're 3-7.
Yeah.
That's not a good football team.
No.
That should be a winnable football game in the Big Easy.
Yeah, and by that time we expect Marshawn Lattimore to be back. That's going to be a big fix for this defense, and that's going to be a burst going back to his former team in that dome.
He's going
Jaden's going to go back as an LSU star
absolutely.
back in New Orleans. That's going to be a big game. So if they come and set a tone there, then you host the Eagles, and the Eagles are going through a tough patch right now. They're playing the Ravens as we speak,
and they were losing,
right? And they have Pittsburgh next week.
Yes,
that's tough. Now they get leaned on a couple weeks, and then you get to face them right behind it. So it's all to play for.
Yeah, everything's in front of us. So, and it's cold out here. I mean, this was another day that Jayden can diffuse all the conversation about any playing cold weather. Looked pretty good to me in this cold weather. Right. And it's cold right now.
It is.
It's super cold. So, folks, when we come back, in 2 weeks, we'll be talking about if this team can beat the New Orleans Saints, or if they did beat the New Orleans Saints, and where they're going to be heading. I really predict that this team's going to get to that 11-win mark. I think that they can do it and do something that they haven't done for this franchise in, 33 years.
Yeah, I mean, to break that 10-win threshold, what do you say? You got 4 games left?
4 games left.
Cowboys, Eagles, Falcons, Saints. There's winnable games in there. So, I mean, they're in a good spot, but we got to see how they're going to finish. And I think that's how a young team grows. How do you finish? That's what we saw the Lions a couple years ago, and then we saw them last year. And I look at the Lions now.
Yeah.
That's how they're building, and that's the trend. So you should like what you're seeing as if you're a Commanders fan right now.
Absolutely. So, folks, as we said, big win for the Commanders here today, 42-19 here at Northwest Stadium. Big win over the Tennessee Titans. Moves the Commanders' record now to 8-5. They're getting closer, folks, to probably clinching a playoff berth over the next couple of weeks, and we'll have more right here to talk about, myself and Felix Trammell. Have a good one, and we'll see you later.